Hi and welcome back to It's a Miracle Beauty. My name is Brandy and I am a beauty review channel. Every single Friday I do full face Fridays. As you saw from the title, this Friday is Urban Decay. It is a full face from inside out Urban Decay makeup. If full face Friday sounds like something you'd be interested in, I hope that you will subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so that you don't miss any of our full face Fridays, and I hope that you will like and share. So as I said in the intro, this is the next installment of Full Face Friday, and I am doing Urban Decay today. I did already prime my eyes with the Naked Concealer, and I set it with the Urban Decay Pressed. This is the Stay Naked The Fix. I'm in 30 CP, and it's 20 NN for the concealer. I did use that on my eyes already to prep them. I have quite a few Urban Decay palettes, despite the fact that they're actually not like my super favorite formula. I feel like Urban Decay's formula, at least the original like Naked formula, wasn't for me. I felt like it was very dusty. I felt like it faded all day. It just wasn't my thing. And then I purchased, and I have talked about this in eyeshadow videos before, but the On the Run palette. I actually got this half off, and it was my favorite palette when I got it. I used it nonstop. I mean, it was just stunning. It's one of my favorites. I don't think I'm going to use that today though. And then I recently got half off at Ulta. The Wired palette does look like this, and I have done quite a few neon looks with this. It's actually really beautiful. I actually like the formula a ton. And then I also half off, I got the Naked Reloaded palette. Does look like that. This one I think is good. I think that it does exactly what it's supposed to. It's a boring neutrals palette. It performs. You don't have to work super hard at it, and it typically turns out good. Today I think I'm going to use the Ultraviolet palette. I did do a tutorial, and I will tag it in the cards. Or first impression really, and it does look like this. I feel like some of the shades in here are fantastic and some of them are not so fantastic. And then my absolute favorite Urban Decay, well, I don't know, On the Run, and this might be tied, is the Naked Honey palette. I love this palette, so I think I am going to use these in conjunction with each other. I think I am going to kind of take the icy cool and warm it up with something. So I'm actually going to start first in the Naked Honey, and I think I'm going to start with this one called Drip, and I'm going to put that in my crease. So this is just not as warm as the other shades in the palette. It's a little bit cooler, and it's definitely not a cool tone, but it's cooler than the rest. So I think I'm going to take Hacked. It's actually, I think, one of the few ones I didn't use in that video. I'm going to use that right there and kind of change this to a purple or brown. Okay, so next I think, I'm trying to think what would look good together. I'm trying to put these two next to each other so I can see which colors like align. And I actually think, I'm going to do Warning on my lid and then do some honey shades around it. So one thing I did figure out when I did that video is these perform much better when you do it with your finger versus if you try to use a brush. And when you use a wet brush, it tends to create a hard pan. So I am not using brushes in these shimmer shades at all anymore, and I will purely use my finger for them. I don't want any hard pan in the palette. I actually think, now that I'm looking at it, I don't know if I'm going to use one of these gold shades. I think I'm going to leave the gold out. I think what I'm going to do is actually deepen my outer corner with Cyberpunk, and then in my inner corner, after I finish my foundation and stuff, I think I'm going to use that Lucid color. That Lucid color pretty much is the only reason I purchased this palette. It is stunning. Sorry, my hair's sitting on my neck. It is stunning, and I love it. So let me grab Cyberpunk. I'm just going to deepen the outer corner of the sparkly area a little bit. I think that shade might not be deep enough to actually use as the outer corner to deepen it. I think once I put it on, it's only maybe a shade darker. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that in a little bit. So next I'm going to grab, this is called Purple Dusk. So that is look as of now. Now I am thinking it still needs a little bit more hacked in the top. So next we're going to start talking about complexion products. So I do have the new Urban Decay All Night Long Wear Foundation Grip Preps Smooths and Perfects. It does look like this. I've only used this I think once or twice before. I honestly don't really have an opinion on it yet. So let's see how it works today. I do have my face prepped with a really good moisturizer. It really kind of plumps my skin and makes it really good moisture. And then I also put on a face oil because I do think I'm probably going to use the drier of the two formulas. So I want to make sure that I have a good base that I knew had enough moisture. So just on first impression right here, it feels smoothing, but it doesn't feel like silicone. It feels somewhat hydrating, like I don't feel like it's super hydrating, like I don't touch it in my face because I know there's an oil underneath. It doesn't have like any improvement, and so maybe that oil is disturbing it, I'm not sure, but it definitely doesn't feel drying. It just doesn't feel like the most hydrating primer I've ever used. So I'm gonna let that sit for just a minute. I do have two foundations. I actually have the original Urban Decay. This is is it the All Nighter, I think? And then I also have the Stay Naked foundation. Now this is one I recently got back in my collection from a friend, and I did do an updated tutorial. I will show it up there, or updated review where I compared what I thought 10 months ago to when I got it back. And it honestly is a really good foundation. I don't like the alcohol content in it, but it lasts all day. And some days, depending on what powder I use, it actually lasts under my mask as well. So I do think that's a really good foundation. The All Nighter is like the original OG for foundations that are able to last literally like 20 hours. I mean, it's crazy. Actually, I think I have the wrong color. Maybe not. I did purchase this about, I think it's been 2 years. I could be off exactly, but somewhere around 2 years ago I purchased this and the concealer, and I couldn't figure out how to make them work. And then as my makeup skills improved, as I learned more about skincare and primers versus, other primers, hydrating, not hydrating, hydrating primer oils. So then I repurchased it knowing that I most likely could find a way to make it work, and hopefully could find a way to make it actually glowy. So that is my goal. So I think I'm going to try this today. Let's see if I can use the same trick I used on that Estee Lauder and see if I can get it to work. So let me just shake it up really good. Oh, this might be too light. Yeah, I looked at the bottom. I'm like, I think I purchased the wrong shade. So I might have to use some of my Naked to actually supplement this because this is cray. Who knows? Once it's blended, it might not be. My hair is making me crazy. I used a really awesome hair product by Chi. It's a hair protectant, and then I mixed it with my Paul Mitchell Super Skinny, and my hair is so soft. It's crazy. So this is the Kaleido sponge. So I did just do my neck, and it is definitely lighter. Like if you look, it's definitely a lighter shade. So I probably will have to mix some Naked into it. I actually have some spaces that need more coverage, but instead of going back in with that one, I'm actually going to go in with my Naked. So that is enough foundation. I don't think I need any more on my face. I definitely think that I will try the Urban Decay All Nighter again once I have a better shade. I know that the Naked works. I actually love the Naked foundation, the Stay Naked. I think it works really great. So I'm going to get another shade of the All Nighter, and I will try to again. Hold on, maybe I'll do a wear test or something with that one. So I do have the Stay Naked color corrector. I don't know if they're going to reissue these like they did all the other Naked collection. This one probably is expired actually. I've been panning it because I knew it was getting to that point, and so it's literally in the lights, it's hard to see, but it's like right there. So that is with the color corrector and the foundation. I think I'm going to use the Stay Naked concealer, even though No, you know what? I'm going to use the all-nighter. This is in Fair Neutral. And actually wipe some of that off. Now that's not one of those like goopy swipes. I wiped off my brush and I'm just putting like the remnants in there so that it can help with some of the color issues that I have under my eyes. And my under eyes, actually this dot right here is how far the deepness of my under eye goes. But depending on my foundation, I don't always need concealer there. So I am going to use the Stay Naked. This is 30 CP. This is actually a powder foundation. I use it sometimes to set my makeup, especially if I know I'm going to be somewhere for a long time or it's going to be a long day, things like that. So I am taking, this is SL Miss Glam. I'm just lightly tapping in this pan, and all I'm doing is lightly tapping to set it. It does give coverage if you use it heavier, but when you use it real light, it just sets the makeup. Next, I'm going to use the Stay Naked Threesome. It does look like this. It has a blush, bronzer, and highlight all built in. I am going to use a different highlighter. I haven't figured out which one yet, but I am going to use a different highlighter. And I want to use for bronzer. This bronzer may be too warm for me, so I'm going to go in very lightly at first just to make sure it's not going to turn orange. We already have a mess on our hands. We don't need to make it worse. It actually doesn't look bad. I don't know if I put it on super heavy if it would not look as good, but so far, not too bad. Just gonna blend the edges out a little bit. Looks a little harsh. Now I'm gonna take my blush brush, which my blush brush I do have. This is from Alamar Cosmetics. This is from a BoxyCharm. This is a pretty vibrant pink. Should match well with the purple. I'm gonna blend that out a little bit with my powder. On this side it looks a little bright. It's getting better, little by little. I think I need a little bit more like in the center of my face. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this fan brush, and this may backfire on me, but I have done this before, so I'm hoping it kind of works. I dipped a little bit in all three, and I'm just trying to like add a little bit of color so that I'm not so pale, because that foundation was so pale. Because it does it so ever lightly, sometimes I'm able to use it in places I normally really wouldn't put it. It helps to bring color back to the face. Next, I am going to use a highlighter, and I'm trying to decide. I have two I want to use. One is the one I hit pan on earlier this year, and it is the Afterglow highlighter in Sin. This is like a OG classic, and I do have one big pan in there. I'm sure it's pretty visible on there. There it goes. And then I also have the one that was in that pan. So I think I am going to use Sin. I used to love this one. This was, when I first started getting into makeup, this was like my only highlighter I had forever. So I'm taking an SL Miss Glam. This is kind of like a blush or a more loosely packed brush. Okay, so that is highlighter. We're getting there. We're getting there. Next, I'm going to do brows. I actually have a couple brow products here. I'm going to use the taupe pencil. I might, if it's too light, I might add a little bit of the other one. And then I'm going to use the clear brow gel. So my brows, I've talked about this before. I have pretty, good brows. I don't feel like there's a ton I need to do to them. I more or less shape them and add just a little bit of brow pencil to kind of help the front where they're more sparse. And then I put some gel to control them, and that's really all that I do. overall, I was actually noticing while I was trying to fix my memory card that the makeup really doesn't look as bad as I thought it did. I actually thought it looked a lot worse. So I was in the middle of doing my brows when I was so rudely interrupted. I've never used this, but it is like the biggest spoolie. It's like huge compared to my normal brow gel. So I do want to do some lining on the bottom of my lashes. I think the first thing I'm going to take is actually that Cyberpunk that was kind of the wrong color. Wasn't what I was looking for. It's a really pretty mid-toned purple. And I did put that mainly on like the center to the outside. This one I'm going to actually go into Euphoric. I don't think we used this today. And first thing I'm going to do is put this Lucid on my inner corner, and then I'm going to put another shade in between. So now I'm going to go into that warning shade that was like the main shade we used on my lid. So that was warning right here, and that was the main one I used on my lid. So I have a couple different eyeliners to use. I have a Junkie, which is green, which green and purple sometimes can look really amazing together. I have a Chaos, which is a blue. That one looks really, really, really good with pink looks and blue looks. I have Psychedelic Sister, which is purple, and this one I think would be too much purple. So I'm not going to do that one. I have the traditional Perversion Black, and I have Zero, which is also a black. So I think I'm going to do green just to put a little pop of color added into this since I've already done color. So next we're going to do mascara. I am going to curl my lashes because it is mandatory for my tired little straight growing lashes. I have the original, I guess I should show you, Perversion. This was one of the first high-end mascaras I ever invested in, and I loved it. I do like it when it's a little bit older, like it has time to dry a little bit when it's wet, like this one, because this is a newer one. I find it's not as good. It tends to transfer more, and it's harder to work with. But when it's a little bit drier, more like the Lights Camera Lashes by Tarte, it is fantastic. Does make your lashes look thick and long. I like mascaras that are drier. I don't like them. That's why the Lash Princess isn't good for me. I don't like them super wet or super creamy. I like them to be a little drier, and I think they're just better formulas. I'm just wiping off the brush because it's like caked. So I do want to add a highlight to my brow bone. I'm just going to grab a smaller packer brush like this. And there is a like pearl shade. It's called Trippin' in this palette. It's right here. And I'm just going to lightly blend it into that area. Good. Okay, I have quite a few lip products to choose from. I only own one lip liner. It's called Bad Blood. It does look like this. And then I do own quite a few lipsticks. I got a little set by Urban Decay when it was, the Honey collection was out. And one of them is called Red Hot. I'm not going to use this one because it is like an orangey red, which is not my tone. I have to use a lip liner to move that, and I don't want to deal with that right now. I have Keep Tame, which is like a nude mauve, which is a good option. I'm trying to hurry up and finish because it's my birthday today, and my husband actually made guacamole so that for my birthday, so I'm trying to finish with it. Another one is Gold, so that's a no. So the red and the gold are no's. Then I have a, it's called Bing. This looks like to be a carnation pink, and I don't think that that's going to be. And then I have a Voice that is, again, a red. So I think our nude is the winner. So I am going to use some setting spray. Let me make sure. Okay. I am going to use some setting spray and then I am going to be finished. Now with this one, because it can sometimes come out a little heavy, I do pat it over when I'm done to try to get some of those spots to make sure there's no wet spots or droplets. I do have the full size too, however, I'm trying to finish this one up. So this is my final look for a full face of Urban Decay. For all the problems and trials and tribulations, I actually think it turned out really good. I really don't have like a problem with it. I think it looks pretty good. I wish I'd had a different lip color. It's the only thing I think kind of doesn't jive, but everything else I think looks really good. I actually am really happy with my eye look. I was really unsure when I was like trying to mix the honey with it and everything else, but I think it turned out really good. So I do full face Fridays every single Friday. As I said in the intro, this was first done by Alana Davidson. She actually did it a couple years ago. I think up until a year ago she was still filming them. I don't think she currently is unless I missed some. However, I think that it's always important to give credit when someone else has done it before you. So make sure you check out her channel. I will link her in the cards again. But at least the first couple weeks, I am not linking her in the cards. I am not going to continue to keep saying it every single video because I think you'll get the point. If you're new to my channel, then hopefully you'll look back and see that I did give credit. I'm not sure what brand will be next, but I hope that you will subscribe or ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of my full face Fridays. So maybe you don't miss your favorite brand. And then don't forget to like, share, and I hope I see you again soon.